we doing? Happy weekend, everyone. Welcome, welcome. So we're doing it. We're going to be checking out Xena Warrior Princess. I'm on the test server. I guess we're going to test her out and see what's going down. So let's check her out first. I've done a video where I kind of go through her kit and stuff. But firstly, do we think they've done a good job of bringing Xena to the game? Was it a shocking mistake not to bring an epic called Gabrielle in at the same time? I actually think in terms of an IP that makes sense to bring into this game, Xena's up there as like, it's perfect. Like really, really perfect. Like, you know, Conan, Xena, He-Man, all of these different type of like warrior type dudes. Like they're actually great ideas to bring into Raid, to bring some life back into the game, to bring relevant IPs for the age bracket of the average player of this game. Like it's actually very, very clever. So is her kit any good? We're going to test her and some stuff today and see what's going on. So she's got a double hitter on her A1, ignores a percentage of target's defense based on buffs on the enemy. She's kind of like an anti-buff hero, but it also says here, will ignore shield if the target's got 2 buffs or more, or debuffs. 2 or more buffs or debuffs. So either way, you're setting, either they're setting it up for you or you're setting it up, which I like actually. It's pretty cool. A2 then says an AoE hit ignores percentage of target's defense based on numbers of buffs on the enemy. This next part's very cool though. Steals 20% turn meter from each enemy. This effect cannot be resisted if the target's under 2 or more buffs. Just kind of means that she's got a chance of pretty much going twice because she's also got a passive that's got a chance, here, fills his champion's turn meter by 100% and gives her increased attack whenever 8 or more buffs are placed on an enemy team. So if there's someone who's doing like triple buffs on the whole enemy arena team, she's basically getting a full turn meter. She goes, she hits, the team has already got more buffs, that's why she got a go. So she steals a bunch of their turn meter, and she's not far from doing this next AoE. So, it's kind of crazy, honestly. Very, very cool arena champ. Outside of arena, I think Doom Tower waves potentially, but she doesn't have really inbuilt mechanics to stay alive. So she's got to hit super hard, but definitely an interesting kit. So yeah, she's got, just haven't gone through this last one. Ignores defense for each buff, same as the other stuff. This could potentially hit very hard. Resets the cooldown of this skill if he's got 2 or more enemies. So the couple of things I want to test here. Obviously, I'm going to do a damage test. Increases champion's attack by 10% every time they use an active skill. Active skill is A2 or A3, right? It resets each round. So this is only really relevant in somewhere like Hydra, Clan Boss, or long arena fights. It might be that her skills hit hard enough that she could end up being a good Clan Boss champion. Potentially. She won't get any of the turn meter stuff going on, but if you've got debuffs coming from elsewhere, she might just be a straight massive damage dealer, for example. And she's not so low on base stats that she would suffer there. But I don't know, honestly. I don't know if that would be worth or not. But certainly in live arena, this could be very interesting. The other thing which I'm super interested in is this random chance to change hits. I don't know if anyone's seen, like, I've not covered any other content creator content yet on this, right? So has anyone seen, because the way this reads to me is that if the enemy's got 2 buffs or debuffs, she will never weak hit. And I'm wondering if it's a case of, if it should have been a weak hit, it becomes a normal hit. If it should have been a normal hit, it becomes a strong hit. If it should have been a strong hit, it's definitely a crit. That's what I'm wondering. Because if that's the case, then it's a really great mechanic. Like a great mechanic. If it's just kind of like random, which is how it reads, then I'm not sure if I love it as a mechanic. So I'll tell you what I've done just for like, so for a first test, I was basically going to test that. Maybe we'll just show it anyway, but sounds like they've already confirmed that it's not as I hoped it would be, because I was hoping that I was going to be able to convert strong hits into crits, which would be absolutely nuts in terms of the way you could build her. So I built her without 100% crit because I wanted to test that mechanic. And I built her basically in some of my best gear. Yeah, which is not that great, but it's good. Bearing in mind she's got no empowerment, no blessing, 7.2k attack, 320 crit damage. And we've done like Helm Smasher on the mastery. So we've got ignore defense with all of her skills. We've got ignore defense with Savage Gear. And then we've got ignore defense potentially through Helm Smasher as well. Chance to not weak hits immediately struck me as potential for Phantom Shogun. Yeah, maybe. So I guess what I was going to do, maybe we'll take a look anyway. We may as well take a look as I built her that way. I was going to look, what's her affinity again? She's Force Affinity. So I wanted to look at the different affinities. So if she was up against her weak affinity, so she's got attack only in arena, so it's not going to help here. The rest of it's all making sense. So, okay. We're going to try her against weak affinity first. You want the bandana on? I guess it's got to go on. Okay, let's try her out. Let's try out against weak affinity first. And I don't have a crit capped right now. On purpose, by the way. Like I wanted to test this kind of like crit thing. So we've got all of the normal power-ups, yeah? We've got our Gurped Up, we've got our Bad L. Drop defense and weaken everywhere. Increase attack on us. There's more than 2 debuffs everywhere, so she gets all of the bonuses, right? So the question is, will she ever weak hit? Because her passive says 2 or more debuffs, 100% chance to proc this thing. 100% chance. So she should never weak hit here. We agree? So let's go A1 then. Double hit. She would ignore shield. We don't have any shields out there. Let's see what's happening with the A1. Crit followed by normal hit. No weak hits. Okay, that's good start. 79k for the crit, by the way, even on a double hit. So we would get a slightly harder hit from them having buffs, but not a lot harder. So that's not a particularly hard hitting A1. It's an okay A1, but it's not hard hitting. Like, bearing in mind, I'm up against level 19 mobs. Like, hard hitters will be hitting for like 250 a swing for like the hardest hitters, right? Okay, A2 then. We'll ignore 5% of the target's defense for each buff, so they don't have any buffs on. Steals turn meter from each enemy. This effect cannot be resisted if they got 2 or more buffs or debuffs. So we should get turn meter still here, right? Come on. What we got on the A2? Oh, the animation is actually very solid. Again, no weak hits, so it is working. And I think we had like 200 odd K crits in there. And then her turn meter is nicely back up. Can we get back to her before everyone else? Not really. But we got round to her before a couple of our own team. And we definitely got round to her before the whole enemy team. Let's just try the A3 as well. Resets the cooldown of this skill if it kills 2 or more. See, it will here, but... again, the animation is good. 280k. This is so shouldn't it be a full turn meter and a second turn for her? The weird thing with turn meter in this game is, even though she's gaining 20% of each of theirs, right? So they're not at 100%. So they're not giving her 20% of 100. They're giving her 20% of whatever they've got right now. And also, if someone else is already on 100%, your heroes might be over 100%, the way the ticks work. So that's why that skill in the arena is good, like really good, but it's not guaranteeing you the next turn again. So next one then, we're going to go with her being the strong affinity. So what I was hoping for here is that this gives us a guaranteed crit. This is what I was hoping to see. If we don't get a crit on every enemy, I'm going to have to change her build up. But this is what I was hoping for in terms of like really proccing maximum damage and hoping that that passive would be kicking out something a bit silly. So let's buff up. So can we get a gauge then of the turn meter steal? Because we've got like, if we were stealing 20% from everyone, she should just end up with a full turn meter bar, right? Doesn't mean she's going next because you've also got a full turn meter bar here. But I don't know how it works, because is it just a 20% turn meter bar fill, or does it depend on how fast they are? I'm not sure really. I guess we'd need someone like Saf to look at the actual math of it all. So let's have a look at that skill again against positive affinity. So I'm hoping to see all crits. And this is the turn meter steal ability as well. So we can just spin around. We can see a turn meter here. Check this out. Is it all crits, firstly? It is not all crits. That's a real shame. But she is at full turn meter, look. So she did get a full turn meter bar. The question is whether the other ticks, because of their speeds and stuff, push them in front anyway. So she ended up going now after Bad L in this situation. Then obviously she goes again with the smack, which, again, like 300 odd K. it's a hard hit, and it would be harder, or it would be stronger if they had buffs, I believe. Is that right? Is it right they'd be stronger if they had buffs? Because she'd be ignoring defense, yeah? So let's change her build up so that she is at 100% crit. So what I hoped would happen is not happening. That's a shame, because that would mean that you could build her in very different ways. So you do need to build a 100% crit. So what we got? 7k health, 260 crit damage, 100% crit rate. So we're just going to do that same. I've still got the same masteries. Helm Smasher is the main mastery. We've got Lethal, which ignores defense. And we've got Cruel, ignoring defense. And all of our skills ignore defense, okay? So quickly do one more run in Dragon 20. Then we're going to go into the arena and try some damage against buffed enemies. Okay, so let's just check it again. A2. Obviously, all of these have got less than 100% turn meter. So if she gains to 100%, she's just flat stealing a 20% gain, which is actually obscenely good. It's an obscenely good skill to get 2 turns away. So A2, what sort of damage are we doing against level 20 dragon mobs with as good a damage set as I can do? Like, basically, I think it was like 230 up to 300k, which is a good smack. It's a good level of damage. And as I said earlier, she will do enhanced damage against buffed enemies compared to others who don't do that. It's not like the hardest hit I've ever seen. By some way, like Heffrak does that twice. Yeah? Twice as much damage, Heffrak. So it's hard, but it's not the craziest hits we've ever seen in terms of flat damage. But yeah, it was also back at 100% turn meter. So it means that straight after that should be bringing in this A3, which looks cool, by the way, which also resets on itself if she kills people. Love the animation. Pretty standard across the board there, like 300 odd K worth of damage. And as we'll see right now, she should basically have that back. Does she have it back in full? Yeah, she's just got it back. So now we've got no decreased defense. We've got no debuffs or anything. So it's a much weaker skill set without that. Even with like, man, she got the turn meter back as well. This is only a 50% chance now because there's not any debuffs out there. Boost turn meter, boost turn meter. Wow. She's actually really good as a progression champ because then she goes straight into this. It's pretty damn good. I've got to be honest. Like, Doom Tower waves, killer. Wow. Faction War wave killer. Any sort of wave killing. It is a lot of damage. It is a lot of damage. And obviously, over longer fights, she ramps up that damage like a ton more. There's not many situations, though, where that makes sense. Like, we had that with King Garog. We had it a bit with Ninja. Like, there's not many places in the game where that ramp up of damage actually makes a lot of sense. Even this, though, look, she's doing some smacks against this dragon. I know it's only level 20, but flipping heck, she is absolutely smacking this dragon up. She's in great gear. Everything's doing over 200k. So let's test her in the arena then. And because she benefits from the enemy's buffing, it makes sense to have a slow style arena team. I wonder if anyone's put her in their arena defense. No. But we've got a whole bunch of very tough, look at these disgusting defenses, right? All of this type of disgusting stuff. So honestly, I don't know if I could beat him or not, but let's try some. Buffs, lockouts. Lockouts is still going to be annoying. Buffs. I have a team set up already as like a defensive team. Netcrit's just going to be her favorite buddy. Like, I just feel like he's going to be in a mix a lot. She's done a self buff, increase attack, so we don't need to worry about that. So other than her, it's basically just giving her time to get the job done. Where is she? Increase attack from that. You know, is it just literally just bringing in other people in bolster type gear? Harima to protect. Like, is this the sort of team that we would see, do you think? I'm trying to think who I've got built for decent damage. My Leo's built to do decent damage. So maybe we'll throw Leo in exactly the same team as that. And we'll do a bit of a check Leo versus this girl. My Leo's a +1. Leo does not self-buff. I've got increased attack here, though, so it should be all right. Okay, let's just test this out. So we're hoping then that she will get this turn meter fill when the enemy buff. which gives her increased attack, and hopefully she cuts in. And she's also going to be ignoring defense and stealing more turn meter here. So potentially doing basically a double hit. That's what we're looking for. Heffrack might be a problem, but we should be protected enough by bolster and everything else, right? Buffs, buffs, buffs. So we've got a few stone skinners. She's cut right in. Beautiful. I guess we won't steal turn meter against stone skin champions because you don't normally, which means we would only get 40% turn meter here. Or we could go for this and see if we just take Sifi out because we're not going to kill these stone skinners. Should I try the A3 here? Try and get a reset on this? Or maybe we just test it. Let's just make sure that the stone skin thing doesn't happen. So do we get 40% turn meter here? Or do we get 80% turn meter? And we shouldn't weak hit anyone because of a passive, right? There's a lot going on. There's a lot to think about here, but it should be pretty nutty, honestly. Let's see. So we've got a kill. Obviously, we've set off him. We didn't get turn meter steal from any of the stone skin guys, as you would expect. That makes some sense. So now we can do increase attack on us. Oh, she is taking a bit of a nap. Okay, so we've got no increased attack on right now. They've got increased defense, increased defense. Let's go in with this. Ignores 10% target's defense for each buff. So we've got 30% ignore, plus lethal, which gives us another, 25. If Helm Smasher procs as well, it should just be like ignore basically all defense. I mean, we're killing tough enemies there. And what's kind of nuts is that she's got that skill back again now. It's already back because she killed an enemy. So she's literally going to be coming in with that A3 again. I can't probably not kill here. Yeah, but she would have had it again. So that's against like a good opponent, right? She only did 48k on Sifi. True, but Sifi had increased defense up. Yeah, it's like, it's hard to explain how strong these enemies are. It's pretty hard to explain that at this level of arena. Like, that's why the test server's tough to test with. Let's see if I can find the same guy again. Or maybe I knocked him. Oh, here we go. Here we go. So let's try it with Leo in the same squad, right? So obviously we don't get the cut in, which means that they've now got all of the Vault buffs up. It's subtle differences, honestly. We're probably still going to take the same nap. So like Leo is one of my best arena nukers. He's not, I guess it's not a great comparison actually, because Leo does better in teams where he's taking damage. And this team is built to stop you taking damage, really. So maybe it's a poor comparison, honestly. If we went in with, I guess we're going with this one so he can't be slept and stuff yet. We went in with this nuke here. Killed the Heffrack. We've got rid of the shields on the others. It's a tough comparison, honestly. I think Xena is just gently with a new skin. Really? I'm not sure about that. I think Xena is potentially a very meta arena champion. I don't think Jetney was ever a meta champion. I think Xena potentially is. Let's just let Leo have his A2 away. Should do the job. 60 odd K here. I don't know. I mean, it's probably not too dissimilar to her hit, honestly. But then Leo's known as being one of the best in the game right now. Meta, but not top 5 nukers. She's definitely not got the most damage. But then a lot of the meta ones, that's not what makes them meta. It's whether they can counter a nasty problem. That's generally where the meta part comes from. Let's check out this one here. The fact that she doesn't weak hit basically makes her like a void champion, right? That's basically a void champion now. Because she cannot weak hit once they start getting buffs or debuffs. Like Gala, but doing AoE hits, right? So again, we can't do anything about the stone skin. Everybody else, she's got increased attack because she got the cut in from her passive. Yeah, because of Duchess. She won't weak hit anywhere. But the stone skin we cannot deal with. But this should do a ton of work. Let's have a look. didn't really. Why did that not do a ton of work? Just because of how tanky they are? Is that a surrogate just doing all of that protection? And Duchess? Okay, that was actually... I thought that would be bigger than it was. The cut-in is... Oh, reaction. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it could well have been reaction, yeah. Because obviously they are a go second team right here. So we can go ally attack. There's no real point, actually, because we've still got Duchess with Stone Skin. So everyone else has used their reactions up, right? So we should, this time, do some work. Okay, yeah, okay. Obviously, she's done a revive. She's used that up. But because we've killed a bunch of people, we should have that back as well, I think. This is kind of a weak point where she definitely needs people to protect her now if we've not got the job done yet. Let's get a provoke out. Nowhere. She didn't. So did she not kill 2 people? She killed 2. So why did we not get... Resets the cooldown of this skill if it kills 2 or more enemies. Why did that not work? Is that a bug or is that me just not understanding it right? I feel like that should have been reset, yeah? And maybe it's because... I don't know. Why is that? I think because the ally protection killed a surrogate, not the skill. Could have been. Yeah. Could have been that. Okay, anyway. A1, let's just go after someone who is the wrong affinity, just to make sure we're not getting any of those weak hits in, which we're not. And then you're basically waiting at this point then for, obviously, your big stuff back. Get our buffs back on. Necro protection, otherwise she would have definitely been dead there. Tons of buffs everywhere. Is this going to be enough to kill anyone? If not, she should get a bunch of turn meter anyway. It's not. I mean, this is a very tanky team, don't get me wrong. I thought she would be killing people there. Surrogate does a lot of work, though. Surrogate plus Duchess plus Candy. It's like, it's a defensive dream. And then she's finally down. Let's try... Oh, man. All of these teams are going to be completely disgusting. This thing. I don't think she's going to be good against any sort of lockout champ. Braids. What's this team? And don't forget, we're fighting everybody here with them all fully buffed rather than... Normally, you try and get debuffs before Anuka goes in most situations, right? Most champions. So we're really showing it in terms of like the worst case scenario of when you would hit. Rotus is a problem for her because Rotus will cut in on her. I do love the cutting, honestly, though. The cutting's very cool. Let's just try an A1 here. Cleanse away for those fears. Pretty much just waiting for people to use their shiz. Fears keep coming. And the sleeps keep coming. Why not? So I guess we ally attack here. No? What did I get? What happened there? Did I get feared? I mean, she's not had a turn yet, really. She's now the only one left. I don't know, guys. Harima showcase. Yeah. Have a nap. She doesn't like those naps. Oh, Harima, you're too good. Imagine if I was showing off Harima on this battle pass. People would be like, what? How's she holding up? Honestly, like, I'm struggling to understand if I think she's good or not. Like, I think she's good. But before the stream started, I thought she's definitely going to be a meta champion. Oh, and that's where you just kind of like, that's the move right there, because that's a full reset as well. But I just feel like there's quite a lot that counters her. So does that mean she could be meta or not? If there's a lot that could counter her, is she going to be a meta champion or not? In an extended fight, she shines, yes. Agreed. Most meta arena champions are situational, so that makes complete sense. And I'm fighting generally, because this is all the content creators, right? These are all people with crazy accounts. Everyone that I'm fighting here is going to have a strong defense if they want it. Try into C for Yumiko. Yeah, I feel like I just get locked straight out, though. If I get locked out, surely... Maybe, does Necrit just automatically get her to go? No, she needs 8 buffs, doesn't she? Like, this team, surely I just get locked out and then there's no way back. How many buffs have they had? Not enough, obviously. So we're not going to get to our A3 to do all the reset stuff, so it ends up just being, did they manage to lock us out or not? And if they did, her A1 does not hit hard enough to like get her back in the game. So you would need, it's not bad hits actually. You would need someone like a Kaimar that could get back into the game. I just don't think it's a viable strat against lockout champs. People who have insane gear can have that much damage and 280 speed. Yeah, the question though, Bestie, is whether she's better than those other champions they would already own, right? That's what we're exploring here, because those same people that have got those stats will have the best nukers already. They already had Taras. They already have, you know, your the guy with the teeth. What's his name? The Christmas dude. I love this. I love this cutting, but also cutting in early in the arena means you're facing all the stone skiing, you're facing all of the reaction gear. Georgia, that's the one. So her early cutting is actually not that great in endgame arena. It's not that great. So you end up wasting skills hoping they don't have reaction on. We don't get the turn meter from stone skin, so the A2 only gets half the benefit against that hit. And obviously reaction here, or maybe it's just protection, I don't know. Protection from Pythian and from Duchess. It's all nasty. Really want Pythian to go before we do, but we didn't. I'm going to hold this. I don't know if I need to hold it, actually. So I should get... Am I going to kill these two? It's unlikely I'm going to kill two, isn't it? Am I going to kill Taras with these champions in the mix? Just no chance, right? So I think we would just end up A1 in here, waiting our turn. At which point, all of the cool stuff that she does is kind of like, when are we going to use it? I don't know. I definitely think like longer live arena fights, there's some value there. I mean, that's some pretty decent hits. Like, I think she just got a turn meter. No, she's got a passive back. She's going to get a turn meter fill next time someone does a load of buffs. Go for a nuke. No kills. That's got to kill someone there. It really has got to kill someone there. Like, without net crit, she's so dead in these fights. Maybe I didn't have increased attack up, though, actually. Quite possibly didn't. A2, turn meter steal again. I should now steal it from everybody, so I should get back up to 80%. Again, no kills. I don't know. But really, like, if you want someone to come in and be a meta champion, that's who they need to be able to play against. If you cannot play against Taras and Marishka, then you can't play in the current meta. This Harima showcase is nuts. Yeah. Oh, it's tough for her. I'm very torn on her. Like, I think she's solid. Probably not as crazy as I thought she was going to be. I mean, she's ended up doing 400k damage there versus the Harima 200k. So Harima is in bloody good gear here. But you've also got to appreciate who I'm fighting here. I'm fighting people which have got crazy accounts. It's an extremely difficult test. What would be a better... anyone that I should change up? Like, you could argue maybe you straight up would want... let's take him out. Let's lose the Harima, see if we can actually do any fights without Harima. Trouble with throwing her in as leader is that she does attract damage. She's kind of like a go second champion, but actually she cuts in as if she's go first. Why didn't they create Gabrielle character as well? I don't know, Deadbolt. I'm not sure. It seems like a no-brainer, right? But yeah, I don't know. So she's cutting in there, of course. Almost seems pointless to do any of her skills yet. Just get a couple of hits away. Just protected the wrong guy. It's moved him. So if we were to rip stuff off, so didn't get enough. But like where you've got now decreased defense in places, like she should absolutely slay that. Wow. Array 1 damage is actually very good. Yeah, see, like old school type of setup, she does work. Like you'd expect any nuker to do, right? So we have to remember that we're seeing her against enemies with like full buffs and they're full defensive type of units. How strong is Taraku here? So we've cut in, of course, but we've got stone steel and stuff to deal with. So the cutting kind of makes no difference to me. I'm not loving that, actually. That feels quite weak. Or not necessarily weak, just it feels a bit pointless. Turn meter steel on 3 of them. The fact that it's turn meter steel is pretty solid as well, by the way. Don't know. The Madame setup is a more aggressive setup, but obviously it means you've got less protection with it, so it doesn't really help you in the long term. But if she's just going, let me just see what happens full auto without me trying to change anything. Just let her loose. Wukong take a dive. He'll be back up in a second. Harima doing her Harima things. Wukong actually is kind of a nasty counter to her. Isn't he? Wukong's pretty nasty. The block buffs is really not nice. Wukong was free too, yeah. But in fairness, look, they've said that the free champions, i.e. Wukongs of this world, will still happen. We've got to give them credit for the free Wukong, the free Artak. Like, those champions are insane. Yeah, they are insane. Is this one insane is the question. Where else could we use her here? This is the trouble. Like, her kit does not scream much else other than maybe like high Doom Tower to me. Just literally make a team up. This is literally like not even a real team, but I think we can make something happen. This should be okay. She doesn't bring any debuffs, right? So she's relying on, she just has to hit really hard. She might speed up Faction Wars. Yeah, we can have a look at Faction Wars as well. So I'm literally just throwing her into the randomest team here. Mainly to see, like, how hard does she start hitting once that damage ramps up? Because don't forget, every time she uses the A2 and the A3, she gets a bit of a damage ramp to the point where she can get to an extra 100% more attack. Don't have an increased attack in this team, actually, and she will never self-buff that. So that is actually a damage reduction for her. Who have I got can fill in that spot quick? But yeah, this damage scaling is an interesting one for sure. And for a low-level player, at least, or mid-game player, she might find way into a clan boss team because of just physical damage. And she might even find ways into, like, unkillable teams in that damage slot if you don't need the debuffs. But because she brings no debuffs, I think it would be unlikely. So let this run through for a bit. I mean, she hits hard. Like, 300k hits. You're not going to shy away from that, especially when she's got a full damage ramp up. Considering none of this is speed tuned at all, right? It's literally just thrown champions in. We just want to see, after, like, turn 25, like, if we're still alive then, how much damage does she actually do? 438k damage now she's doing on that. What's that, RA3? I mean, that is high-level damage, honestly. The A1 popping out 270k. She doesn't benefit from her extra talents, like the turn meter steal and the turn meter boost, all that sort of stuff, right? But, I mean, an A1 kicking out 400k per hit, that's a lot of damage. So I think she will do well in teams which are built around her being like the unkillable damage dealer champ, especially on like 2-for-1 speed tunes and stuff. Because every time she's going in there with 400k's worth of damage, I mean, it's a lot. Right, what sort of damage has she done in this run? So we've done like a 39 mil run, whatever. It's bound to be about that because I've got no speed tuning or anything going on here. So 17 mil from a Xena on a 39 mil run. Let's just... this is a terrible test, honestly. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to quick battle with that same team. There's no team cohesion or anything here. But it's done almost the exact same damage, right? So 17 mil from Xena. Let's just see what happens if we throw Ninja into that team. My Ninja is built, but built to do Sand Devil. So Ninja, the team's done the same sort of damage. Ninja's done less damage than her. Again, it's not speed tuned, all that sort of stuff. So it's not a great test, but it's not a terrible test, honestly. What about Newt in that same role? Newt did 33 million in that same role. Newt's like that. I see your Xena and I'll double it. The other place where I guess we've not tested her where we should is like high level Doom Tower waves. Like where you've got some of these super annoying buff waves. Lots of buffs we want. So if you don't have a kind of seer team, what I tend to revert to is like, or what I used to revert to was something like this. Like protection, drop defense and weaken, chance to remove buffs, Cupidus doing damage. I think she actually comes into a high-end team like this well, as long as you can protect her. And that's always the challenge. So as soon as they buff up, she goes. Can't do much about block damage. And you're probably thinking, yeah, it's the rest of the team that are making this. But honestly, there's not many champions that do high levels of damage against this type of high-level opponent. Certainly not an attack-based. you end up relying on burns and stuff like that to do your damage if you can't straight sear nuke. So I do think she's quite interesting for this. But you do need her to kill stuff to get things like her resets back. And it's definitely not going to suddenly be quick. Like, she's not going to be in there to kill stuff quick. It's more like, can she just do it? It's just a question of, does she do it? So, you know, getting the reset on your Cyclone there means that we've got it for next wave. And this was an area where I struggled a lot for some time, honestly. Like, the highest levels of Doom Tower hard, incredibly difficult for people kind of like progressing through. Harder than a lot of the bosses for a lot of people. And because she's doing more damage when they're buffed up, it's just perfect for these higher levels. Definitely want to kill her. Trouble is, again, like, no net crit means that she struggles to stay alive. Even with, you know, a bunch of people that are helping her stay alive, she just becomes the target because she's the one who's taking hits. But bam, another kill. Down again. Don't know. What do you reckon? I think this is probably an area where she will shine for a lot of people, honestly. But she's still got that same problem that she doesn't have inbuilt mechanics to stay alive. She relies on you bringing other people that definitely keep her alive, which is not that easy to do. But definitely her passive, giving her that edge to just take a turn when people are buffing up. I love it. I think that's a great passive. And we're talking about her damage ramping up over time in this sort of situation. So if you're happy to just let it run for whatever this is going to be, like probably 6 minutes or something, then there's some value here. Look at that. There she goes, gets herself buff. Still doesn't hit that hard though, right? Like, hits hard, but not that hard. But this area, high level Doom Tower, I think she will definitely help a lot of people out with. So let's check faction wars. I mean, obviously, like, her reset on that A3 is beautiful. It's beautiful to see because she just clears two enemies in the wave and she's just got it back. And then the A2 gives her so much turn meter back that she's just kind of like going again. So her ability to cycle is extremely good. Like, really, really good. Like, cycle those AoE hits. Don't know if I got a team that can stay alive here. Oh, you kept the wrong girl alive. Oh, no, it's actually not that good a hit. I thought she was trying to smack then. Turn meter still. See that? I mean, she got the freeze, but almost back to a full turn again. I mean, definitely. So I'd say her wave, her ability to speed up waves would be great. And maybe the boss part as well because of the side ads. This is definitely not a well-built team for this fight. But I think this is generally one of the slower factions for me. But then, as I say, I've not really tried to build like a speed team for it. I only really ever do stage 21 if I'm doing clan v clan. A couple of minutes versus a team that I've had in the past, which is quicker. But it's not bad. She's definitely up there. I mean, your Carl was built well for me. And like, she's up there in terms of damage for sure. Oh, she can't weak hit. That's true. Yeah, that is true. Oh, she didn't quite do it. She did weak hit there, though. She weak hits if there's not 2 debuffs out, right? There's got to be either 2 buffs on the enemy or 2 debuffs. She can weak hit. It's 50% chance if there's not buffs or debuffs out there that she won't weak hit. But it's pretty quick. See if she can do anything on Nightmare. Don't forget as well, though, like, my champion is very well geared. I'm trying to say, like, this is a good effort. Oh, man, that's so close. Actually, like, it's flipping close. She's just getting it back. She's getting the A3 back every swing. First time it didn't come back because she got a weak hit there. This is now a problem. She's got to wait for those cooldowns to come back because she got the weak hit. That's pretty good. That's actually pretty good. Against Nightmare, 12-6, 33 seconds. But, I mean, through testing here, I think she's good, but perhaps not as good as I hoped she would be in the arena. I thought she was good, but not insane. Definitely solid if you pick her up and you're like... if you picked her up in mid-game, she's going to be in any content where you're trying to beat up waves She'll be your arena nuker. She'll be your campaign farmer. She'll probably get into your clan boss team for a while. But if you think endgame, I think she's basically a live arena champ. Right, guys, to save my throat and my kind of voice and that sort of stuff, I'm going to end the stream. But hopefully you've enjoyed it. I've definitely enjoyed getting back on stream and doing some of this stuff. And yeah, hopefully I'll kind of get back to normal from next week or so.